Hey guys, if you're thinking about living in Costa Rica, this is kind of be like a warning video. My pain can possibly be your gain. I'm going to be talking a little bit about my own personal life in the last year, and I'm going to intertwine it with how it may affect some of you. Maybe that you deal with some of the same things I deal with or issues I deal with, and maybe you can relate to some of them. I am going to probably be a little TMI, a little personal, so if at any time you're like, I didn't sign up to listen to this crap, just turn it off. Don't get mad, just turn it off. But I think it's going to be worth watching if you're thinking about living here, because it's definitely a problem. I've made this kind of video before, but this time I'm going to intertwine my story, my own personal struggles with this video. Anyway, guys, I'm Michael Allen for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. TravelCostaRicaNow.com is a travel agency, so go to TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Fill out the 4-minute form. You'll be that much closer to vacation of a lifetime. We're like you, having best friends who live in Costa Rica, who know Costa Rica, totally hooking up your Costa Rica vacation. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It really helps. YouTube doesn't care. You know, the YouTube algorithm has been hitting people hard these days. I guess it's just not me. So they've been kind of tanking the videos. So it could help me battle those algorithms, and you can see you can see videos as we put them up if you also hit the notification bell. All right, man, I got the big cup of coffee for this one. You might want to grab one too. You know, I've always been honest with you guys. I'm not saying I don't lie, but I don't lie to you guys. I've always tried to be, you know, I take pride in trying to give, you know, my perspective, share our experiences, you know, as truthful as I can. So, you know, if I'm going to lie, it's not to you guys. So keep that in mind. And again, I have talked about this before, and it is an issue, but you don't really hear about it too much. I've talked about it, and I'm going to talk about it again. All right, so anybody that's watched me for any length of time, I put up some pretty personal videos in the past, and I've struggled with drinking. Want to say alcoholic? Go ahead. I don't really label myself like that. To me, if I'm not drinking, I'm not alcoholic. But I have a history of kind of a party guy, always have been, and I can take things to extremes. It's been my curse and my blessing all my life. You know, I can go from one extreme to the other, you know, so I quit. I stopped drinking in 2017 after just a horrendous almost decade of because for me it's just not drinking. It affects other things. I, you know, get stuck in my head a little bit and go to, like, let's say, dark places. I make extremely bad decisions when I've, you know, been, you know, a night of, you know, drinking. The biggest problem I had with drinking is I was so good at it, had such a tolerance for it, that I never got hangovers. So I always had a, you know, ethos of work hard, play hard, and I take both to the extreme. So even though, you know, I can drink hard, I'm also working hard, and I never really stopped doing that. But the problem with that is it's a false sense of, you know, I don't know, security or something, because, you know, drinking just gets out of hand or whatever. So in 2017, I didn't tell anybody because they've heard the story before. I just stopped. And again, I didn't tell anybody. So, and I stopped for a number of years, but recently, you know, they say you fall off the wagon. I did not fall off the wagon. I told the wagon to stop at a particular place. I got off, and I purposely, you know, made a decision to, I'm going to have some beers. I'm going to have some beers. So, like I normally do, it goes good for a while. That's usually how it happens. And then it kind of just slides into, you know, some of the nastiness I suffered in the past, like, let's say, the dark places or whatever, making extremely bad decisions, full of guilt and shame. That's a hard one. So, yeah, all those things were happening, and so 2.5 months ago, I did the same thing. I was like, man, this is getting out of hand again. Now, the one thing good about me, I have got a lot of weaknesses, but I also have a couple strengths, and discipline is one of them. I don't need motivations. I don't need meetings, and I don't need people to, you know, hug me or any of that. You know, for people that need those and it helps, hey, go that way. But for me, It comes down to me, I got to make decisions. So a couple, 2.5 months or so ago, I made a decision and I stopped drinking. And I've been extremely, I tell you, I didn't even, does happy really exist? I don't know if that word really exists, but if it does exist, I've been hitting happy a lot the last couple months. And another experience that happened to me, now this was prior, I was still drinking at the time this story happened. And try, if you don't know anything about the subject, you'd probably be better off not commenting like, Michael, you do drugs? Oh my God. If you don't know about what you're talking about, again, seriously, you probably should shut up, because I know a lot about what I'm about to speak of. So I've been estranged from my son for a number of years, and I did that. He didn't really do it, I did it. And it's always been weighing on my mind. Always like, is that the reason, I've have these struggles, or, drinking, all that kind of stuff. So I've always been pretty reflective. I don't lie to myself, we'll say. So back along, I don't know when it was, maybe, I don't know, let's say 8 or 9 months ago, I decided to do some MDMA. Do you know what MDMA is? Ecstasy. MDMA is the pure form of ecstasy. It's, for those of you who don't know, they use it for PTSD, military people. It's used in therapy. Well, I know all about it, and I've used it many times. It can be a fun, time at a rave. If you want to, sit by a speaker and go like this all night, or watch lights. But it can also be used in other more psychological ways. So I did it, but I was by myself, and I had no intention of, it wasn't a party thing. The thing about taking any psychedelics or mood-altering drugs is you have to go into it with intent. You have to be, maybe you're looking for some answers, maybe you want to reboot your hard drive, maybe, because what a lot of psychedelics do, not that MDMA is a psychedelic, but what psychedelics do, it almost has you viewing, you're up here watching yourself in a sense, and you can, if you go into these experiences with intent of looking for something, or I want to know why, this happened, or why was I doing this, or childhood stuff, it's a really good resource for a lot of people. So with the MDMA, I did the same thing. Well, that next morning after this, I wrote my son. And everything is great. We're back together. I'm trying real hard. All that. No, I don't have to try. I mean, everything is going great, and I think that has a lot to do with maybe my happiness. And my head is so clear now. I don't go to any dark places, which used to be a huge issue for me on a daily basis, and I'm out of all that. Now, how am I? So, thank you. And about the drinking, real quick. If you, hey Michael, good or something, I don't really need all that. I'm good. Trust me, I have discipline. I don't need motivation. I'm not that type. I have the discipline to do what I need to do to correct, things. And I'm not saying I won't drink again, but I can tell you it'll be a long while. I have no oh, I'm just going to stop. Because I think if you say, well, I'm going to stop for 2 months, that's easy to cross that line, really, if you know you're going to be drinking again in 2 months. I'm not doing that. I told everybody I'm not drinking for 3 months just to shut them up. Because everybody, all my friends, hey, Mike, have a beer. Come on, it's just just one beer. So I had no really help, but it's all good. It wasn't hard for me to go, no, I'm not doing that. So anyway, I have felt the best I have felt in I don't know how long. And again, I don't know what happy means really, but I might be right there on that little happy thing. I'll be just sitting around my house going, woo, this is good stuff. Now that and anybody that knows anything, if you've quit drinking, how your brain fog that you didn't realize you were in once it goes away, you realize the fog you were in. Now again, I was able to work, but not to 100%. And I'm just full of stuff now. I got so many videos lined up. I've been, I'm up in the, I've always went to the gym, but now I'm getting there earlier, and my weight, my lifts are going up. Everything is going good. So how's that tie in? I've mentioned this before. Costa Rica is a beautiful backdrop to change your life. It's a beautiful backdrop to live the simple life. They call it the pura vida, all that is very, very true. But as much as it can work for you, it can work against you, because it gives you too much time, too much alone time. Once the honeymoon period is over, once the I live in Costa Rica now, it's a fact, you're not romancing it, you just know you live here, and when it all settles in and you're here, you're going to realize that, and you did your house and everything is ready. Now what do you do? Now what do you do? So it either gives you that backdrop to, hey, go volunteer or start writing your novel, or, you're going to Spanish school, or you're busy, busy, busy. That's good. But what happens to a lot of people, and trust me, after being here, it's because it happens to me. It's happened to me numerous times. You just start sliding into 5 o'clock. Why would I wait for 5 o'clock to drink when it's lunchtime at 10:30 in the morning? There's nothing wrong with a beer for breakfast. Come on, it just kind of evens you out. So you can slide into that really quick. So Costa Rica can also do that backdrop. And so my point is, if you deal with maybe issues, maybe similar to mine, or something that, maybe you're bipolar, whatever it is. I'm just saying that you got to be careful, because you can go either way on Costa Rica very far. You can either go, my God, this is the best move I ever made. It's, my life is fulfilled now and I'm doing this, this, and this. Or it can fill you with just head trauma of guilt and shame and darkness and drinking and more drinking or more drugs or whatever it is. And it can go sideways really fast, really fast. Trust me, just trust me on that. So it's just a warning. It's just something to have in the back of your head. If you or the person you're coming out here with, you're living here, and then you got to kind of go, well, honey, you already kind of drink a lot. I don't know if we need more of that. So just be aware that Costa Rica, you can go in either direction very, very far. It's just not me. I'm not the only guy, that's dealt with this kind of stuff. So anyway, I just thought I'd tell you the story. But man, trust me. This is this is the best version of myself. Well, it is for a long time. This has been very nice, for the last 2.5 months, and just kind of every day is getting a little better. I'm digging it. Be aware. I'm Michael Allen, travelcostaricanow.com. Peace, guys. Hope it helps. Let me get back to my coffee. Things are going to pop up. If you're thinking about living or traveling anywhere, always do your homework and research. And if it's Costa Rica, you should probably come to my relocation retreat. I bet you didn't see that coming. Ciao.